how do you basically anticipate the unanticipated and, feel confident that you're, at the end of the day, regardless of what happens, you're going to have a good story to tell, even, again, when you can't control the outcomes?
Gosh, I mean, that is just a fundamental challenge of documentary film. And I think, honestly, is something that really, that confidence that things will come together from a story perspective is something that, increasingly in my career, I'm getting to a place that I can trust. But I think it has to do a lot with, one, not coming in with a storyboard or a preconceived notion of what should happen, and I've been surprised enough times when I think I know what should happen and something else happens and it actually is better. That's happened to me enough times that I trust it. And I think with stories like this, it's also about trusting the characters that you're working with and the people. And I think if you have interesting people who at their core align with the brand goals and values, you can let go of the reins. What actually happens is often more interesting than the stuff that you planned for.
Yeah.
And I think, a big reason that I'm able to proceed in that way is, I think GoDaddy has a real sort of North Star of putting their customers' truth and needs at the center. And so we're not coming in with we need to hit this point and that point and this point, and it needs to all be rosy. There's more flexibility and honesty there. A couple years ago, the film that I mentioned, Big Water Summer, is about a woman named Cheryl Lynn, who's a farmer on the Navajo Nation. And so we followed her through a summer. And of course, going into filming, you come up with all the schedules and all the possible, things that could happen, and you plan for everything, and you have decision trees, and you try to sort of predict everything. And there was an incredible drought in Arizona that summer, and her plants weren't growing. And it was just an outcome that I couldn't control for. I literally could not control for. And I was worried for a while. And then I won't spoil it, but it ends up being sort of the most central, beautiful thing to the story, and she wins regardless, And so anyways, it definitely is something that is challenging. As a producer, you do try to predict every possible outcome and control for things, but you also need to be totally prepared to tear down your plans and go with what's actually happening.